Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to make a very important video about if you buy a mic and how do you set up that particular mic in order for it to sound really well. So I went from this mic sounding I can't man sounding oh man why am I opening control panel? Uh, don't want to open control panel. Okay, so sounding like sounding from this to this. Now I hope I did not screw anything up here, but you get the gist of it, that how the sound actually was for me and how it really improved for me, how I made these changes. So I will go down to each and every single step one by one, so you know what to do one thing at a time. So first thing you need to do when you just buy the mic and just plug it in, uh, very first thing you need to do is just make sure that mic is at least 5 inches away from you, not too close, not too far away. 5 inch is the good amount. That's what she said. Um, so, uh, so 5 inches is a good number. You don't want to be too close, because if you get too close, this is what it sounds like. It just hurts ear. And if you're too far away, that this is just for you too. So you want it to be 5 inches, or depending on your mic, go to the official website and see what distance they recommend. You need to follow that distance exactly. Not like you can go like 2 or 3 inches back and forth. You're talking, that will not make a much of a difference. But it's like if you're like fucking 1 feet away and you're just like fucking kissing the mic. Two different things. You don't want either of those. Like I said, you don't want either of those for your mic to work properly. So once you get that nailed down, among other things, to set up a mic and putting on a stand and boom arm or whatever it is that you have with your mic, whatever you do, I don't care. And you go to the left click this volume and then click on sound. That's pretty much everything you need to do here. Go to the recording section and then click on the microphone, then go to levels and set it to a certain value that your particular microphone's company or the website recommends you. Mine recommended below 80 for it to sound really well. Now there's this too, but I'll get that to in a second as well. So after this is NVIDIA RTX voice, which is the magical thing that you need to reduce what I just reduced in the background. I'm using two background noise suppressions on my voice to make it sound pretty well. Before you do all of that, now that you set the sound level to 80, you need to increase your gain knob if you have one on your mic. Do not increase it above 50. Like I said, any mic, unless until it is a really fucking expensive mic that can handle gain really well without putting in gain, but it's just natural. No matter what mic you get, with whatever um, they claim increase the gain, you will increase the white noise as well. White noise is just simply air making noises. So you cannot get rid of that noise whatsoever fucking ever, unless until you talk. So when you start to talk, your mic will pick up your sound, and the background noise, the white noise, just kind of disappears. So you don't need to worry about that factor, because if you just stay quiet, if I stay too long here right now and just keep the mic like this, it will start to pick up the white noises, and because this is a condenser mic and it will take on any vibration it can, like I said, because it's super sensitive. So you need to make sure that you get rid of those white noises, and for that this is pretty good. NVIDIA RTX voice. Go on the Google and search NVIDIA RTX voice, and for if you have a GTX graphic card, just buy that. I would not guarantee you that it will work well for you, depending on your graphic cards. I have a GTX 1650 on my laptop. It's not exactly my laptop, but I'm doing all the things in it. And for GTX 1650, I made it to work. But if you have like an RTX, it will work like a charm. It will reduce sound really, it will reduce the noise really well without causing any damage to your sound. Now, one thing you need to understand before you use any of these settings for OBS or this RTX voice in general, you need to understand one thing. Even though I have the noise suppression cranked up all the way up to full percentage, you don't necessarily need to do that depending on your environment. Like if you're sitting in a room with not a lot of air hitting the walls and there's no fan noise, there's no noise, you probably won't even need it, because it totally depends on your environment, your climate as well, and also the place you live in. So if you live in a place like India or Asia in general, you will have a lot of dampening noises. Dampening noises are the worst noises that are created because of the moisture in the air, because Asian countries have more moisture in their air than other countries like America, or United States, UK, or whatever the other countries. So that's a geographical limitation you're limited to. So if you're an Indian and you're buying a mic, watching a review of another some YouTuber from another country, trust me, it's not gonna work for you. It won't. It will work for them, but it will not work for you because of the environment itself. That affects, whether you like to believe it or not, it does. So it, you remove crank up the noise suppression all the way up to maximum. If you use these features, you need to make sure, extra sure, that you do not use any unnecessary sound or noise in your room. So recording and making videos, all that stuff, please do it in a quiet place. Fight your family to find yourself a quiet place. It's a good movie though. You know, John Krasinski is a great actor and a great director. A Quiet Place, right? I didn't watch the second part. I will if it. I don't know. Is it released? I don't know. So now moving on to now that on NVIDIA RTX, which you can find from the Google, just search it and get it. I'm not gonna put any link to it. You're smart. Just go to Google and just type NVIDIA RTX voice and go into the section and download the version for your GTX version. There is a version for GTX as well. So yeah, after that, you come into the OBS, all this shit that goes into OBS. I'm not gonna get into how to deal with OBS. I know a lot of shit about OBS now, a lot of shit. When I first started using OBS, I didn't know anything about it. And if you guys want me to make a video on how to set up your OBS settings, look, I have just one Z, nothing else. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna make intro, outro, or any pages or any template, even though I can do it. I can do it, but I won't, because it's just pointless and useless to me. And so I'm just straight up just connect and just play and just stream. That's all I do, even though I don't do it very often. Yeah. Now coming to the mics filters, which is the biggest thing. Now, one thing you need to understand is that these audio filters that you have to have them in these specific orders. It's important. So take a screenshot from your phone, from a laptop, from your computer, from your iPad, from your whatever the fuck you're watching it from, and keep them in this order. Now for noise suppression, for me, the speaks low CPU usage one, this version works for me. There is an application on the internet called Crisp, which Discord uses, but you have to pay for it. Discord just lets you use it. Discord just use it for free, and it just does it for you without any payment, because it's kind of fun. But if you buy the Crisp application, it does make you sound just absolutely amazing. Just use the Crisp and that's it, done. You don't need noise suppression, you don't need EQ, you don't need expander, you don't need compressor, limiter, you didn't need any of that. Just use the Crisp application. But the only problem is that you will get only 240 minutes per week. After 1 week, you get another 240 minutes, and that's how pretty much it goes. So that's the only limitation of that application. You gotta buy it, and if you can do it, just buy the application and just install it, and then go in the device set, and you will see the option of Crisp mic, and just use it. and it automatically detects your mic and use it and filters and edit it out, and just it basically uses the AI to fix your audio in general. So whatever the fuck is going on in your background, whatever, it will fix it. But like I said, I would recommend do not make too much noise in your background. It is never good. So try to figure out a way to find a quiet place, like John Krasinski and uh, Emily Blunt, to make your voice sound better. Or you can just ask them to get you a really good mic. I don't know if they will. I don't know. Why am I saying that? And now the next thing is EQ, equalizer for short. So it's equalizing the noise suppressed sound. Now, this is the most important thing in making you sound like the way it is. At least for me, if I get too close to the mic, like I said, it doesn't sound very well. But for me, this sounds like good sound to me. Like this is the best I can get out of the way my sound is. Like I said, trust me, it is a lot better sound this way, rather than uh, any other way. I've tried so many different things, so this is the best I can do. Sorry. Um, but for me, this is pretty fucking awesome, pretty good. It sounds pretty good for me. Now, coming down to very first band of this equalizer, you need to have it on high pass. Like I said, it's default. High pass is basically how your sound is being lifted up. It just immediately throws into the equalizer. That's pretty much how it does. I don't know. Maybe that's what it does. So any sound that is below 80 hertz, it will not pick up. You would not want those sounds in your equalizer. So no, after the noise suppression, even if some kind of noise is left, EQ will get rid of it. And this section right here, you see this section right here. This is the section that will get rid of those noises. Like I said, you see these curves, this yellow curve that going in the background, these sounds, and these are not from the background noise. Could be like it's just a noise. Like I said, the receiver of the sound doesn't necessarily care whether it comes from your mouth or if it comes from the background. So anything that is there, all the combinations, it's just there, and it will not get picked. Anything other than that will be picked, which your artists need to hear. So if I'm making really weird as low flexion type, the gulping type sounds, maybe those will be reduced to a certain degree. And I'm not talking about the gulping that you actually do gulping. I mean the gulping that happens when you talk. Those kind of sounds will be reduced in this. So basically any sound with low bass, low pitch, low frequency to it, basically, will be below 80 hertz. Are the one that creates problem, will be reduced. You don't need any gain for that because you are reducing. You're getting rid of the any sound that is below 80 because this is the first band and you using a high pass, and that's the reason for using the high pass, to eliminate any sound behind that pass. Beyond that, you can't hear anything. So high pass is basically 80 and above. That's what it means. Now coming down to the bandwidth, it's 1.2, and I think that's the sweet spot everybody use. I think, I don't know how others use, but I kept it 1.2. Doesn't bother me. It works well for me, so I kept it at 1.2. Now the second band I kept it for frequency of 115. A lot of YouTubers will recommend you to 130 to 150, but for me 115 worked out really well. If I throw it to 130, 120 even, it will make my voice sound like box. I'm not gonna change it. I hardly got it, so I'm not gonna change it. And the gain is 2.7 because I needed some richness and also peak in my sound. Because if I don't increase any gain for my voice, it would just simply sound like a plain sound that is just being. It's like it's, it's like a voice is being smacked down. Like stay there, don't go up here. So if you're like screaming, your sound will really not sound like screaming. It would just like, if the sound would just flatten out, and it would not. It would be like a different sound rather than you actually shouting or you're whispering. So those sound actually shouting. So when the audio does get high, uh, you will not be able to reach those peaks. So you need that gain in your band. And as for the bandwidth, I have set it to 0.9. I don't necessarily know what it does, but it does make my sound a lot richer when it comes by and it comes back, comes into the equalizer. Now the third band, I had to, one thing you need to make sure is there's a lot of difference between my second band and third band, which is usually not that much for a lot of other people, because they don't have this much of bass voice. Bass voice is what you call the voice with a lot of bass in it. So my voice have lots and lots of bass in it. It's not deep. It just have a lot of bass in it. So there's a difference between voice having a lot of bass and a lot of depth to it. Depth is usually because you just fucking have a God gifted throat, throat, whatever you want to call it. Your gut that you use to make sounds is basically God gifted, super fucking um, heavy bass. I don't have that. What I do have is that most of my sounds that are coming, the expiration that goes are both from my nose and my mouth because of complication in my nose. Bone structure is bad, so I gotta breathe differently. So I talk differently. This is why I have a lot of bass in my voice, and it's not deep. So the third band and the second band has to have a significant amount of difference depending on how much bass you have in your voice, because what third band just essentially does is actually give you bass. So if you keep a distance between second and third, it will make you sound less boxy, which means have less bass. And if you keep third and second band close, then it will give a lot and a lot of bass to your voice. Means make you feel like you're speaking into a box. Just put your head into any box and just start talking in here. How does it sound? That's what it will sound like. That's what it basically means. So you need to reduce that because you don't want people to be like, oh, am I in a box? So yeah, that's, am I in a box? I don't know what that even means. This video is getting pretty fucking long anyway. So fourth band you need, yeah, for the third band frequency is 800 for me. 1.2 is the bandwidth. I didn't do any experimentation. I did like 1.2 is the best bandwidth for me to get the best bass for my sound. Now for the fourth bandwidth, I used 2000 hertz of frequency and bandwidth 1.2 again. And for fifth one, I need the low pass. Low pass is basically any sound other than mine, like click, click, and clack, clack, a lot of S and C's will be removed for a certain frequency for beyond 13,000, because I have a lot of bass in my voice and I'm amping it up. That would also amp up those clicks and those S and C's. So I need to have a really low frequency. A lot of people keep it at 20,000, some keep it at 18, some keep it at 15. I keep it at 13,000. No gain. Like I said, you don't need gain to get rid of extra fucking noise. Even though it's not there, you usually just reduce the background noise for me. So that the AC noises and all that shit is getting removed. Like I said, if I said anything wrong in these settings, that's probably because I wouldn't know about it. But I did a lot of experimentation with it, so I'm quite sure that everything that I said in this EQ settings are actually correct. So yeah, so these are the settings that I use for EQ. Next is the expander. You gotta, if you can do an experimentation with this, go ahead and do it. Like I said, I have a tach of 1 millisecond. You would not want that. Usually it is default and you can work with it, but it didn't work for me because my voice is different. And that's what a lot of YouTuber will tell you, to not touch it and not mess with it, because that will really ruin your voice. But actually I had to work on it too. But if it works default, just goes there and change the ratio to 2. I would recommend that. Everybody recommend that. And just keep the ratio to 2.0 and keep everything else and just test it. Same for the compressor, you can touch the threshold maybe and the ratio. Ratio is just by how much you're just compressing your sound, and expander how much are you expanding your sound. So expander basically just makes your sound expand when you're like talking low, normal, or high. Now the next thing is the limiter. Of course, I changed each and every single settings. There's nothing major about it. You gotta experiment with yourself. Ratio is primarily what you usually change, and for the limiter, you might want to change the threshold for when you're like talking and all of a sudden excitement just shout a lot, and you don't want that sound for your audience to be like, it hurt my ear. So it will just lower that sound. It would not eliminate it. It would just reduce the volume of it basically. So yeah, that sort of thing will happen. And I think that that summarizes everything about this OBS setup for your voice, and you can use it. And I haven't actually tried the Audacity, and I will make a lot of editing and how to make Audacity. I gotta learn that shit by myself too. But yeah, this was the video of if you buy any fucking mic and you want to make it sound like a fucking pro, go back to the initial how I showed you how the sound actually sounded without these things and how it sounds now. You need to do these things, and I hope you I helps you in any way. So like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you call it. I don't know. I don't really care. You can do it, and if you want me to make a video on how to set the OBS for your YouTube or your Twitch, I can. I can make a video on that too. I know about a lot of shit about OBS too, but I don't know. So uh, I'm currently gonna learn about Audacity and how to use that application because I gotta make my music go up. And that's why I really bought this mic for cheapest mic. So I will make a video on mic too, but it doesn't matter what mic you get, to be honest, as long as it has good reviews on in your buying website, just buy it. I don't. It doesn't matter which mic you buy. You can make all of them sound good. So yeah. Not you also notice that my sound is not exceeding the red line. It's not going beyond red line. That's because of the limiter, by the way. So it will not hurt your ear. I know that for a fact. You just reduce the volume for a certain appropriate listening, and it will be fine for you. So that's it for this video, and no cuts, nothing in this video that I had to edit out. Straight up just started recording, made it, and I'm gonna upload it. See you guys later. Peace out.